it's better. It'll be shorter.
Yeah. So anyway, we
A
both
little
heard
cheat sheet for approving.
the same answer when Joanna asked the question. And since it's in our regs, we have to do it until we change our regs. But we've been holding off on changing our regs because we've been waiting years for the state
It looks like it works.
Come out with the
update their
mileage.
stuff. So it's kind of a process to go through
Yeah.
updating the regs. So, but they said we better continue. And it's like, even though we didn't do it for 32
You're right.
years I've been on this way.
We can revisit all those applications, yeah.
Right. God.
Exactly.
That sounds like fun. All right, we seem to be live on YouTube, so if anybody has dreams of fame.
I don't think I got an agenda. You have one more?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You were the one that asked, and I went.
No, that's all right.
I
Did anybody
have
else-
an agenda, I just didn't remember.
Everybody else good? I didn't hear from Carl, but we said Lisa's kind of recovering from something, so she asked if we'd have a quorum. If not, she'd stay home. So it seemed like we were all set.
Okay, yep.
Okay.
Okay, we'll call the meeting to order then. Old business discussion, possible decision, application 778, violation 35 Cricket Lane, construction of an in-ground pool in the upland review area. James and Pamela Hickey.
Okay. And we did get new plans. Make sure I grab the right. That's the one we had in September. October. All right. So yeah, we talked about this quite a bit at the last meeting, and we had some thoughts and suggestions, and those were taken into account in this.
We sit up here, guys?
Yeah, sure.
Join us.
This is Samantha. That's my mother. She lives in the in-law suite on the property. So not that it matters, but she's right. This is my wife.
I knew
Pamela's my
Pamela
mom.
Hickey years ago, and I'm thinking
Oh,
she
yeah.
would have been
She's,
close enough.
although Pamela is from, was it Manchester?
Manchester.
And then lived in Springfield.
She was a southerner.
Yes, changes that were made. There's now a symbol and for wetland plantings as well. I should have made more copies, but we have separate from this plant list that the property owners put together. That's a little more refined than what's on the plan there. We didn't quite get it all together to where that's on the plan, but we have this as an addendum that I can reference in the permit. But we worked together to make sure they were natives, and there's like 3 species of wetland plants, and I think 4 of upland plants to put as like the buffer. And then the engineer corrected the size of the patio. I think it might still be a little wider than.
It's, I think the issue was that there's like a square footage amount, and I think the people installing the pool said what goes on 2 sides or 3 sides, and then they said the remainder goes on the other side. But he was like, I don't know how many square footage that is on that side after we do all 3 other sides. And I was like,
Okay. Okay.
So I explained it to the surveyor, and he was like, okay, we'll just do our best to look at the square footage and put it on there.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I think that, yes, possibly where the stairs come out, I'm sure that the concrete will just go past the stairs as opposed to on the survey where it goes like up to the stairs or
Okay.
something. Anyway, but
Okay. And what else is it?
it's probably more correct on the old survey than it is on that. But
Okay. And they also added. I think Drew, you might have been asking too for the current
trees
area
are
of
on
disturbance. Oh yeah, and the
there.
trees.
are
Yeah.
on there.
Yep.
But so
Yep.
there's a dashed line that
Right.
shows the current disturbed area.
And we talked to Skip's Wastewater. They put the reserve, they delineated the reserve area just a little up further up the hill from the current new system.
Or down the hill.
Or down the hill?
Yeah. It's down.
And yes, and the existing trees. There weren't a lot of mature trees, but there's.
It's hard to tell. They're like really small dots, and I think there's like little different size dots. Like
Yeah.
it's not that easy to see them, but
Yeah.
there's a little guide on the corner.
Yeah,
of the-
and there's maybe only one in that wetland area to
There,
the
existing,
south,
right?
but there's a few in the other pocket. But so I think it does make sense to, do those additional shrub plantings in those areas and a buffer, and I can pass around that planting list.
That we did get that.
Oh yeah,
from
that was
email.
emailed. Okay, but yeah, if anybody wants to see. Oh,
It's pretty
You
complete.
get
Guess
them
I
from the
have two of
garden
them.
bar now, they're 40% off.
We went to Garden Bar.
Yes, we went to
I see
some.
that in there.
Yeah, we did, and they said they could put them in for us too. So
Yeah, we did also hire a landscape architect who
yeah, but we're
took
not
our
gonna-
money, and then we haven't heard from him since. So we're not really sure on that one.
We did go to a place in Suffield you recommended, but it's a wholesale only place. So.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, you was you. Sorry. The Garden Bar though in Vernon said they recommended some and they said
I've
they
heard
put them
they're
in.
very good too.
Yeah, very. Yeah.
They did tell us they were on sale, and we're like, well, could we keep them alive in pots for like
I
till the
know,
spring? And he
yeah, I
said
know.
probably not. I was like, okay.
This weather's day.
I know fall's not a bad
It's
time,
true.
to,
Yeah,
but
no, it isn't.
you
I
still
mean,
have
right
them
now,
there doing all
It
this
depends
work.
on
Yeah.
give
how
them some
everything goes.
good water
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
get them in this week. Be nice.
Yeah, I've planted really late and crossed my fingers, but.
Yeah.
Okay, and what else? Let's see. Was there anything else sort of unresolved?
We
from
put the
last-
markers in
Oh,
that
yes.
would kind of delineate the wetlands from the non-wetlands
We talked
for
to-
future owners.
Yeah, and we
And
talked
I
to the
think-
surveyor. They said that they would put those in for us.
Oh, good.
I think we're going to use like concrete monuments.
I'm not
or
really
something.
sure. He said that they do them all the time, and he got the information from you for exactly what you guys are looking for. And he said that once everything was all set, that he would send his team out to put them in the exact spots that are
Okay.
on the survey.
Okay. And yeah, so those are shown on, just a few feet off of kind of each corner of the wetlands, and then in between on the longer straightaways, they showed on the plans those permanent markers too. Let's see. Is there anything else that anybody had questions on, or that I'm forgetting? We're looking for on the plans. But going through my list of items and going back through the minutes and working with the engineer, it seemed like we hopefully got them all.
Yeah, no, it looks much better. Very clear the way the plan is depicted too. But just a couple of quick questions. So I see the proposed fence location. So it says proposed disturbed area, and then there's essentially a limit of disturbance, which are two different lines.
There's like the current, what's already been disturbed is that like long dashed line.
This line here.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what's already been disturbed. So it's a little, I guess the new limit of disturbance is less than that. So really, obviously, we've already disturbed more than that. But
Okay, so this is really just depicting kind of the area of the actual pool construction and patio and fencing.
Right.
Not necessarily the limit of disturbance.
right, yeah,
Okay.
I mean that's where they're proposing to do work now. I guess aside from planting,
Mhm.
pretty much.
Okay. No, I was just
Yeah.
because it was a little confusing there. And then the so I think the way this reads, area to be planted at limit of disturbance.
Yeah, so they were indicating like planting buffer plants between that new limit of disturbance and the wetlands.
So
Planting
this
the
line here,
No, like
or all the way up to the wall.
yeah, I think all the way up.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we don't
That's
use
what I wasn't
that.
sure about,
It's
yeah.
I mean it's a yard now, but we don't use that area. So the shrubs and trees that we pick, I think they get relatively like big, and so I think in general like the entire around the fenced area will be a variety of like the list. I think 4 plants that are there just to make it. I mean, we don't use the area otherwise, so it'll be more of vegetation everywhere.
Yeah, a little screening because you have
Yeah.
you back up to the road, the other road there. Yeah.
You're still going to.
Our backyards are like is our front yard, so it'd probably be nice for everybody to not have a wet, grassy area.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll be a nice enhancement to it. It's been maintained more as like lawn for a long time. So.
Yeah.
could I just have a motion for purposes of discussion?
Sure. So the full the full thing, right?
No, just the
We can't just say 1 through 4.
move, oh, that part, yeah.
So I'll make a motion to, well, I'm trying to read this, but it doesn't work. But a motion to approve application 778 35 Cricket Lane for the construction of an in-ground pool in the Upland Review area. I'm gonna
Yeah.
hold off. Or-
Oh, you can keep going.
Oh, okay, I'm going to keep going. Based on the following, the Commission finds that the applicant has submitted all necessary application materials pursuant to Section 211-7 of the Wetlands Regulations, including but not limited to Section 211-7E5, alternatives considered and rejected. The Commission did not find the proposed activity significant. The Commission finds that the criteria set forth in Section 211-10B have been met by the applicant. And
I think that's it.
Yeah, and
I'll
you
need
can
to do
leave
that
4
one, right?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1, 2, and 3. And yeah, I'll paste that in.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, I just have found the applicant to be extremely cooperative and willing to work with us, and having been kind of blindsided here, the fact that it's as complete as it is somewhat
Appreciated.
unusual.
Yeah, right.
Somewhat unusual and appreciated, yes.
That's kind of you to say that.
Thank
Yeah.
you. We're hoping we're gonna elevate the neighborhood as opposed to
Yeah, I
leaving
think
it.
this was an opportunity to
Yeah.
come out with a better project and
Yeah.
a better pool in the end.
Yeah.
So.
Definitely improving it, yeah. Were there any other questions or comments or concerns? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do this with the original pool company as an educational tool?
Oh, they have it, yeah.
Okay.
As of now, we're still going with the same pool company. So
Yeah, mostly 'cause we have a
Okay.
contract
they
with
seem to
them.
understand the urgency.
Yeah, and now they have to treat you really well, hopefully. So.
We have a little we have some leverage over them.
Yeah, and then I think we do still have to get the sanitarian to sign off and the building inspector to look
Which she
over
should
the
be
permit.
all right with now, because she did, and I probably actually should have mentioned that. I did get an email from Andrea, the sanitarian, saying that she was all set with what was shown on the plans now. So she should be able to sign off, and I'll be able to sign off now that.
And
now
we
that
did
they-
file a building permit and paid the fee. I don't know, but I don't know how that works.
We'll check in with you on
We'll check
Thursday
in.
if you're in or whatever.
Yeah, I won't be in tomorrow morning, but I'll try to actually sign off when I go back up there, just in case everyone else
That'd be
gets
great.
it together in the meantime. Before
Yeah, we know we're not going to
Yeah.
be swimming this, but we would like to
Yeah.
fill the hole in or do something to
Before it's so
make it
nice
nicer
right now,
for the
but
neighborhood.
once it gets cold.
Right, yeah. No, that should be fine. And we'll post a legal notice of the approval. Technically, there's a 15-day appeal period,
Okay.
but that's kind of just at your own risk sort of thing. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
work's already started anyway, but just so you're aware. But your permit's valid as of tonight. But
All right.
your wetland permit.
Well,
Yeah.
gotcha. All right, thank you again, guys.
All right, thank you so much
Appreciate
for
it.
your help.
All right,
Nice meeting you guys.
Okay, new business, application 779, 41 Wood Road, construction of gravel driveway in the Upland Review area associated with new house at Adam Van Wingerden.
All right. I don't think we have anyone here.
That was me. Tim Kuhn was supposed to meet me here, and he didn't show up.
Oh. Oh, did he call you? Or
No.
oh, okay, because I talked with Jay,
Okay.
and he said, I guess they had like 3 meetings tonight, and he was asking, well, you can't approve it tonight anyway. You know, do we need to be there? And I said the only issue would be if they have questions that I can't answer, but otherwise it's correct. They can't approve it tonight by state statute anyway. So if any questions come up that we can't answer without Tim or Jay, then we could hopefully clean them up for the next meeting when they can approve it. But yeah, so you might recall approving some tree cutting on this site back. When did we have that? Actually, it was last October. And that was sort of in preparation for this. Now the plan is to improve the wood road that's there into a driveway, a gravel driveway. I don't know if you wanna,
Yeah,
feel free to.
absolutely.
When was the tree cutting approved?
October of last.
Yeah, October of last year. We put the
Thank
job on
you.
pause for a minute just with the way material was going and everything, and we're kind of looking
Yep.
to kind of fire everything back up now.
And I'm sorry,
Chris Locatelli.
oh, Chris, okay,
Yep,
so we can have it in the minutes.
that's fine.
And,
Like I said, I just.
okay, I knew Adam was out of town, and I
Adam's
told
out
you-
of town, yeah,
Yeah, so probably they didn't get the message to you.
Nope.
But I didn't realize, you were coming either, so. And, all right, so we've got this plan now, so the tree cutting's already done at this point, and now they're looking to, widen the driveway and install gravel, and also trench utilities, and it'll be on the far side of the driveway from the wetland. And they show silt fence.
Yeah, correct. To the right of the driveway, the electrical lines will be going in all the way back up to essentially park out here. So right, future house location, essentially right in through here.
And the house itself will be outside of the upland review area, so it's really the driveway that's.
Yeah.
Right along the lot, down here.
Yeah, it's close.
Yeah, it's a tight one.
And is this all treed on the other side? One side's got the wetland line, is the other side, is that all?
There is a tree line, but it's pushed back up into the elevation a little bit.
Meaning that what's shown on this plan is not representative of what's there now?
I mean, it's fair. It's one second. Wood
And
Road.
this shows it right up to the driveway.
Yep. It's fairly close, but I don't. Like I said, I expected him to come here with a little bit more
Oh, yeah,
information.
that's okay.
In the tree clear, we weren't allowed to disturb any of that, but that does raise an elevation through there. It is pushed a little bit further back. So if we were to if we get approval for the electrical lines to be going up there, there's actually already a pole set by Eversource, because we talked to them a little bit, and they actually already have set that pole, and it's actually a straight shot. We would not be disrupting any vegetation to put the system in.
Is that this pole here?
Down on Wood Road or further up?
Oh, yeah, CLMP, yeah.
The pole's on the road, you
Correct.
mean, or up?
Yep,
Okay.
pole is on the road. Correct.
And then everything going up to where the house is being proposed is on the ground?
Correct. Yep.
Gotcha.
Yep. So the existing pole that was there was a little bit further into that tree line. When we spoke to Eversource, we had moved it back closer to the throat of the driveway, so it did not disrupt that on the installation of the power feeds going up the right side of that, essentially.
Mhm.
The right side of the driveway, the way you're looking at it, right there. Like I said, we've gone over this a little bit with them, kind of gotten everybody's idea. We actually have the bolt and everything kind of ready to go whenever we get approval.
So it is, it's a longer driveway to contend with along the wetland. I mean, one thing it has going for it is it's not steep like some of the long driveways we've seen that are going straight up a mountain.
No, it's a gentle elevation from the beginning of the property. I think you have some shots on there that gives you kind of the heights. Like if you look at where the house is, that's at 246. Down by the edge of the road, you're what? 226? What's that say? 224?
226.
226. Okay.
Whereas this is all gravel actually over
Correct.
there where they're going.
Yeah.
That used to be my property, so
Oh, yeah.
I grew up there, and it's solid land or all that where they went.
So
Did a good
the-
job. They stayed right out of the wetlands.
Yep.
So
we
you
made
don't-
sure of that.
Yeah,
We flagged it before we went in there, obviously.
yeah.
So
Everything's happening away
Oh.
from it.
I'm assuming that construction is minimal if it's already there. The driveway basically is already there.
Right.
Yes, there was a road on the property prior to us.
That was there forever. That there's the hardwood and everything out through there.
Yeah, everything there is existing. And if you were to drive by, that road does go almost to out of sight past the tree line. Up into
Yeah, it opens
Essentially,
up into the big field.
right to about here, when the field opens up, is about where the driveway goes to,
Right.
the current driveway. It's 3/4 of that distance, just about.
So almost the whole length of the driveway is in the upland review area, but there's no direct disturbance proposed, nothing in the wetland, and no culverts, no crossings, anything like that. So a lot of times when you've got well, because this wetland goes pretty far across the front of the property, but fortunately they don't actually have to cross it or fill anything.
Yeah, because there would be no other way to get up there.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
there's no
Through the
culvert,
wetlands.
no culvert, no anything.
Yeah, that makes it simpler, less to worry about.
And we didn't, I'm assuming we didn't do anything with monuments for the tree clearing, right?
No. That's a good question. I have that other file with me too, so let's see.
Just wondering if it might be good to have some there for, given how close it is, you know.
So the tree cutting. No. Oh, and actually, last time we ended up doing it as a jurisdictional determination, and allowed the expedient way. I think was to allow just tree work, basically, and so it ended up not being a permit, but a jurisdictional ruling. So there were no conditions. So yeah, that's something you could consider if you wanted to have that marked.
What's your name?
Chris Locatelli.
How do you spell your last name?
Locatelli.
L-O-C-A
Telli.
T-E-L-L-Y
I.
I. And your title is?
You want those?
Facility manager at Rotaract Farms.
Okay.
Maybe another tree. Do you happen to know what these are showing? Is it
Yeah,
just another like symbol for a tree or something?
Oh yeah, I wonder if let me see if the old plan called out what exactly they were or not. But
These little spiky things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was wondering.
yeah, it might be
There's only
like
two of them. It's kind of weird.
a large evergreen or something. This,
Cell towers that look like trees.
yeah, all I can think is that they were larger trees, maybe like right on the edge. I don't know if they were thinking about removing them because. So on the old plan, there was also one on the other side of the road from those two. So
Oh,
maybe
yeah?
that
That's
one
the
was
one.
tighter in, so that one probably got removed, and maybe they end up keeping those other two. But yeah, it doesn't
Not part of the legend.
doesn't label them yet. Yeah, definitely. If there's questions, and you know, the tree line. I know you were bringing up the tree line, whether that's accurate. I should ask Russo's what their philosophy is in it, because when we asked Gardner Peterson on a different application, whether the tree line represented like the crown or not, they were like, it depends on who goes out there, sort of thing.
The coverage of the trees, like when you're under them. Is that what you
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
crown?
It was unclear what they considered the tree line. You know, because if you were looking from an aerial view, it would be like the tree crown. But then when they're out there shooting it, are they going by where there's a trunk or?
By the canopy. Yeah.
But yeah, so that we didn't get a clear answer from one surveyor. So I don't know if maybe Russo would have.
Yeah.
When you first go in there, it's open in the front, and then right when it gets going in there, maybe that's they were showing the tree line. The trees, the big trees, start there
That's where it kind of squeezes out. Yeah.
because the front is open.
Yeah, I just think it's relevant in terms of now that this lot's going to be used as a residential building lot. If you know, I don't know if there's going to be like lawn, any like strip of lawn. There must be something off of like the gravel driveway between that and the wetland, or between that and the tree line. And I think, given how close it is, it would be good to make sure it's clear where the limits of the wetlands are. You know,
Okay.
so if there is any lawn or mowed area that's going to be maintained, maybe depicting that on the plan, and then depending on how wide of an area that is, considering some markers along those, you know, these close areas of the.
Before this knoll that peaks out, essentially. Is that what you're talking about? Between that and the road, we
Yeah,
want
on
to mark it.
the Which side would this be? The west side of the
Yeah,
driveway?
I don't.
Yeah.
So is this
Yeah.
all open now? Is this all field where the wetland
No.
is?
No.
No, that's all
portion.
wetlands.
Yeah, I think so. This is the tree.
Yeah,
line
so,
there.
so that
Okay, so
that
that's all wooded.
Wooded
that
area,
knob that
wooded
pokes
over
out
there.
into the
So
driveway.
chances are they're not gonna,
So you would be between that knob that pokes out and then all the way to the road. You'd want to have markers.
I don't think they're gonna do anything.
So that's right,
down
essentially
here.
right where it opens
Yeah.
up. After that, that's actually the tightest part right there when you're driving up there.
Yeah.
And it opens up. And
Yeah.
it's,
This depiction is a little tight on the driveway.
Joan, this is a weird piece together thing, but
You got
but an
that might help
aerial
you out.
of, so this is all wooded wetland in there.
If it's all wooded wetland, I doubt that they're gonna turn that into lawn.
Does that show where was that pre-tree clearing or after?
Yes, this is like a 2019 aerial,
Okay.
I think.
So you'll see that the proposed area where the house is, that's all been cleared at this point.
But the rest of this is all still wooded.
Correct. Yep.
Right,
Yep.
yeah, that's a good
Google
point though,
Maps
yeah,
here.
that other area between the upland review area and where the house is going was cleared. This is just, if they did end up requiring the markers, that's
Mhm.
generally the standards. Sometimes with one, like as lengthy as this, maybe they'd limit it to, yeah, just a certain area versus the entire line.
Okay. And this is provided by like a.
So this is it right here.
So we provide just the little metal
I don't
discs
know.
and then generally like the survey will come out
so you
and
can see the.
locate them and they might,
That is, I think, where the.
they might
house
put 'em
is
in or,
visible, right here.
or even, the site contractor.
Okay.
I'm looking at-
So they would provide the location of it, and then I would drive
That's
it,
the ground.
Yeah,
or we would take care of making sure it's permanently mounted.
Right, yeah, and you can either, like the tins have like 4 little holes, or
Down
sometimes
here.
people just epoxy them onto whatever post. So you do have to put in either like stone or concrete posts, or sometimes lolly columns are all right too,
And that-
depending on your preference or what's easier.
Okay. Is this on the town? This on the town website, I'm assuming.
I don't think that's actually up there, but I have plenty of copies.
Okay.
And I can email
That
it.
was maybe close.
Yeah, because it looks
That
like it
was way
comes
up
in
here.
right here and goes around.
When you
way
see
down
the
there.
chain link fence, that's the entrance to it. So there's
Okay.
2 posts on each
I
side.
was like way up by the ground.
Yeah,
right
you're
there.
way
It was-
before the elevation starts to change.
Okay,
Like
so
that
there's
hill
the
goes
little
up.
entry. There's the road. Okay. That makes a lot more sense.
You'll probably see it definitely. It's much wider than it depicts on this.
Yeah. No, I mean, my only concern would just be like that close
Okay.
area there, just in terms of, future tree clearing and, because it's being used as residential now, people not, filling in the wetland in that area
Mhm.
with grass clippings or
So the boundary
brush
markers.
piles or
I mean, our goal
just
is
because
to
it's so close to the driveway and potentially,
Yep.
where you're gonna have full lawn or something.
our goal is to maintain it to the point where you're not really seeing the house too much. So we don't want to be cutting any of that back.
Yeah.
If
right.
we were required to do boundaries, that's unrealistic, and we would keep because, like I said, if you look at that notch out, it's so open up here that nothing's encroaching on the house. There's nothing even close to that at that point,
Yeah.
and that would
Looks
be
like
the
a
only
nice
thing we would
spot.
take care of.
What's the acreage of the lot?
9.5,
Nice.
9.5 or 11. There's a couple pieces over there. I can't remember. There's a few different ones.
That's all I got.
Any other questions? Because like Joanna said, we can't approve it till next month anyway, but if there's any,
Yeah, I think someone from Russo will come next month anyway, but if you had anything you want me to ask Jay or,
it's pretty straightforward. I think we're all all set.
Okay.
All right.
So we are requiring the markers?
I mean, that's just my preference. I mean, the other computers may have
It
feel
would,
differently.
it would
but-
be when we approved it, but the thought might be to just have a couple along there where it's close to the driveway.
Yeah, just a couple down.
Okay.
Because then when the house is built, they're gonna need another application for that.
Well,
Or did we
As
already
long as
approve
they
it?
keep it where it is now, and if they don't have to do any more grading outside it into the upland Riviera, then they wouldn't even need to come back. Because how they're showing it now, I mean, it doesn't show grading for the house, but the house itself is outside of the upland Riviera.
Oh, it is, okay.
So unless the grading's going to end up extending into the upland Riviera, then they'd have to come back. But they might be all right after this one. And then there was talk of solar and all that, so I don't know if that'll get in the upland Riviera, but down the line.
Oh yeah, down the line a little bit, but you know, plenty of room. It's wide. It really is wide open. It opens right up.
All
And
right,
it's wet further back too, on the property, like kind of before it abuts Broderick property.
Yeah, but
Stream
it's
that
again,
runs
it's
back there.
It's way far back. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a very long, property. Yeah. Okay.
all right. I think we're all set for now.
Okay.
then.
Thank you for coming and explaining that, yeah.
No problem.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
You
Okay,
too.
Jurisdictional rule
Yeah,
application.
take care.
These are
Oh, the
Fire.
bubble. Yeah.
These are-
Okay.
which
The
ones are-
cricket one.
which ones are-
Thanks.
let's go through
Great.
this one.
Thank you. Woodrow.
78520 Howell Hill Road, Tobacco Barn in Upland Review area.
Okay.
I have an oddly familiar packet for you.
this one's not in color. Wasn't the last
I
one in
just
color?
threw-
Yeah, we
I
ran out.
just
We
threw that away tonight when I went through my thing.
We printed it so many times.
What do we have first? The barn? Okay.
Here.
Right plan app. Oops. All right. I put the pond one in the barn file. So I
And you are,
Owen Jarmark from Jarmark Tobacco.
okay, here's the barn. So there was room for one more barn.
One more. I promise.
Small- a smaller
this
one.
is small. I promise this is the last one there.
I think you said that a couple months ago.
Promise this is the last one.
But then he saw it in real life and
Yeah,
went,
I
wait,
saw
I could
his
squeeze
face.
one more.
This is the last one where
This one's actually
it's
outside,
really small.
like,
Yeah.
like just kind of almost in the upland Riviera, but not quite. But just out of an abundance of caution, I think. Like,
Yeah, and I don't know when Rick was first there this spring, I don't know if he delineated all the way down on the tree line there, so we figured we had to come here anyways for our next project, so we figured we'd do that one while we were here.
and then no one will question where did this other barn come from. I don't remember 8 barn.
So 1 through 7 are like done at this
1 through
point.
7. Seven's not quite done. I dropped off 26 Jamaican guys at the airport this morning, so we didn't quite get it done in time. I think we have to build the doors still. But 1 through 6 are done. We use them this year.
What are you driving them in?
A bus.
Okay.
And then the plan is for number 8 to go up in the spring.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're trying to be on the ball with these. And then we actually did buy a property down the road, so we'll be doing 4 more there. But we got to get Jay out there to see. I have no idea where they're going to go yet. But yeah, this one's pretty straightforward, I think. We can go through the pack if you want, or we'll just have it for reference. But I feel like we've beat a dead horse to death with that one.
Are we handling these one by one? I guess
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Separate applications. So we just need to decide if this is right.
Right. If it's a building essential to the farming operation and not involving any filling or clear cutting. So Now this one, you won't have to go through your whole long
Yeah, because it's not
cheat sheet.
necessarily in the upland review area even.
So, so we have this wetland, right, that we've talked about before that runs through here.
Yeah, the little like
yeah, I
a
think,
water
I think
course.
they
Essentially
know it's
like
like
a drainage
it's like a
ditch.
swale, yeah.
Yeah, but then there's obviously wetlands down here somewhere. Do we know
On the
like,
other
where?
side of the road there. It's not delineated. So there's
Okay.
when we bought the property, there was an existing kind of road here that they have marked out. So this corner could be close to
Yeah, that's a good point. It could be
a wetland on the other side.
Oh, and that's kind of what you were getting at before. That
Yeah.
it might be within an upland review area on the other side of the road.
And you guys aren't doing any work on the other side of the road,
No.
tree clearing.
No,
barns?
that's no. It pretty much drops off. The elevation change here is actually pretty drastic. It probably drops by 3 or 4 feet there. Because if so, on the front side of the barns too, there's also a natural swale there, and that drains straight down to the trees, and then kind of follows the road in the woods before it makes it back to kind of the swamp area.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and
yeah.
this one was a little different. Like, we'll often not require a detailed delineation for agricultural use, but this one got a little questionable. Is that a water course? And then, is any work actually in the wetland? So they ended up having Rick out to delineate that part, but we hadn't, asked for any work
Yeah,
on the other side.
on the
of
other
it.
side there, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at least Rick had delineated that area where the barns are going, and that itself wasn't wetland. So at least we could say they're not, they might be within an upland review area, but they're not filling, like the barn itself won't be in a wetland.
No, yeah, and the barn is just on concrete piers. There's no the actual floor of the barn is dirt.
Yeah. Okay.
And we were out there, Monday? Yes, was it yesterday?
Yesterday.
All the other ones, it's all seeded around it. It's coming in pretty good. It looks nice.
Yeah. That's good. Yeah, I was just looking. I guess I didn't grab a photo of the barns, but yeah, that was all germinating around the barns. And
Sounds good.
I'm
Anybody else?
waiting. Do we need to read this whole thing?
No,
No.
we just need a.
I'll make a motion
Motion
to
to-
approve application 780 as of right.
Yeah, I might not even use the word approve, but just to.
Determine.
Yeah.
I think we need a script for jurisdiction.
I know, yeah. Or just to make a motion that this activity is permitted use as of right.
Yeah, I'll make a. No, I'm not making a motion. So
Yeah, you're still making a
Yeah,
motion.
something like
You can still make a motion. I just didn't want you to say the word approve just because it's not a permit. but-
okay, so I'll make a motion for application 780.
This activity.
This activity is determined to be as of right.
As an agricultural activity.
Yeah.
That was horrible.
No, it's.
There's an actual.
We'll type it up anyway.
Can I see the minutes?
It's interesting.
Whatever
Yeah,
we
you
said
could
last
say
time.
is a
What did we say
permitted
last
use as of right. I think that's what we usually say.
time? Permitted use as of right.
Yeah,
like that.
I was struggling to think of what we normally said too, but a permitted use as of right. That sounds about right. I know, it's like we were missing a verb or something in there that we couldn't come up with.
No, it was a clause and not a sentence.
Right, yeah.
I'm writing it for next time.
Okay, good.
You're not coming back.
I
Yeah,
know,
we've
you've
heard
got
that
another
before.
property.
No, never say never.
Second.
My second.
You don't even know what you're seconding at
I
this
know.
point, do you?
Well, I wrote something,
She knows
so whatever that
something.
Okay.
was.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries. Okay, so now jurisdictional ruling for application 781, 520 Hollow Hill Road, construction of a 1-acre irrigation pond within wetlands. And that's not on
Is it something?
We
I'll
can
switch-
use
I'll
it's, we can actually kind of see it too. That
Oh.
map doesn't show.
Yeah.
It shows the same thing, I think.
Yeah, so and this part of the property has not been officially delineated either, but I think we're just accepting that this is wetlands based on the town GIS and the conditions there that, you know, there's a reason you want to put the pond there because it's wet.
These are where the barns are, right here,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
So we originally, that area hasn't been farmed. We originally thought it could have been an old pond and just got kind of filled in with sediment and stuff over the years. But after talking with Jay today, I think he talked to you about it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it ever was a pond. It's wet. That's why it's never been farmed. So it's, you know, a perfect location to dig a farm pond.
And it's not connected to the,
No, it's not connected to the stream or anything out back.
so there's not as much to worry about with
No.
protecting like an outlet and that sort of thing, like a lot of farm ponds that might feed off of water course.
No,
or
yeah, this
something.
will just be groundwater fed. When we look around the country, you kind of see that there's a lot of farmland where they're running into water issues, so we're trying to kind of get ahead of the ball and make sure we're well equipped. Because we have the position that some of the best farmland is going to be the only one stuff that has access to water in the future.
And the pond is only about an acre. The proposed pond is only about an acre. So I'm reaching for the regs, but the
Yeah, the regs allow up to a 3-acre pond as of
Yeah.
right, which is by far more than is needed there.
yeah, I should have passed these around before the last one, but yeah, grazing, farming, nurseries, gardening, and harvesting of crops and farm ponds of 3 acres or less, essential to the farming operation. So this is a situation where they can do activity in the wetlands to create a farm pond as long as it's under 3 acres. And then we talked about also where the spoils from the pond would go, because that field has a lot of wetland soils mapped, at least on the GIS, and you can see on aerials wet areas. So the solution seemed to be to bring the fill
Yeah, so
over to the other side of the barns, right?
yeah, we think that most of the material will be like topsoil-like, and so what we're going to do is just haul it down kind of the existing farm road and pile it in the field by Watchog Road, and then we'll haul it off with triaxles to other farms and just spread over the top of the ground where areas might need more topsoil. We're farmers, so we certainly would never sell topsoil because we wouldn't be able to
They
make a
do,
living.
though. Yeah.
Yeah, some do.
Sometimes to the detriment of their fields, they end
Yeah.
up with these bony fields
Right.
that are really sad. Yeah.
Yeah, we have
And they
bony.
got to bring in other soil from somewhere
Yeah.
else.
We have bony fields that we want to add some to.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is there any tree clearing associated with the pond?
No, there's no. We were down there yesterday. There's no trees there. It was like Phragmites that was growing there, and it just kind of we mowed it last spring, and then we mowed it again a couple weeks ago.
Gotcha.
We did dig a little test hole, and it looks like a puddle today, but it is full of water, just groundwater fed.
Do we know the depth of the pond?
No, we're not gonna go that deep. I'd say it's probably gonna be about 10 feet. There's no need to go any deeper than that.
And then, so do you guys own all of this?
Yeah,
field
yep,
here?
yes, that's all farmed. So that's what the pond's
What's
for.
the
is
crop
for-
there? Is that
tobacco, yeah.
So that's what the pond would be
For
serving?
irrigation,
That-
yeah.
that's
So we'll
our-
probably be back. We've gotten 7 grants from NRCS for in Enfield and none in Summers, East Windsor for irrigation, and so it's essentially all underground irrigation. It's a matching grant, and so we'd come back because we'd be trenching for underground irrigation, potentially in wetlands in the field.
Oh, nice.
Where are the barns for those?
All this
Oh,
tobacco
those
goes
eight.
in these
Those
barns.
8.
That's why we're building barns 7 and 8. Our calculations were off a little bit in terms of what we could store there, and so we actually ended up hauling a fair amount to Enfield at the
Oh,
end
wow.
of the 150 farm miles. It was a disaster.
But I guess a productive.
Yeah, it was productive. I mean, it was great land. It worked out
Yeah.
really well.
Can't build the barns taller.
No, you can. Some guys have tried to build them and an extra 4 feet wider, but once you start going taller or wider, you really sacrifice airflow, which we need. It won't sear properly.
And is this piece down here by that goes to Watchdog?
Mm-hmm.
Is that hay or something? What do you?
There's we grew tobacco there this
You did.
this summer, but now it's all seeded in like a cover crop of rye or wheat. All our fields get seeded for the winter.
Not exactly, right? It's got some piles of soil on it right now, right?
Yeah, there's soil from a project across the street that we hauled over.
And you said you're going to haul the soil from Pond
Yep.
over there
Yeah,
too.
and then it'll all get hauled out.
Are you guys involved with the airstrip there?
That's me.
That is you?
Yep.
Oh, you're our mystery self. So
Yeah.
what are you doing?
My father and I both fly.
Oh, really?
Yep. So we actually in Enfield we have an 1,800-foot private grass strip.
Oh, nice.
And then here we had the unique opportunity to buy
Yeah.
that. It used to be a paved strip. My father's not very excited about it. But so yeah,
It's more forgiving.
it's it's 1,000 feet longer, and so we'll be able to get maybe a faster plane. He likes to fly slow, I fly fast, so we get something a little bit
Slow and
faster.
low, see where you're going.
Well, you can give him. He can stick to the grass one. And
Yeah, and I
do
can
this
fly out
one.
of here. So that's the plan. And they're going to be paving it in, I think the 15th, I believe. Yeah. And then we hope to be able to buy the property next door to put a new building on eventually to park the planes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just asked when I got here
Mhm.
today because, like, when being on like a town commission like this,
Oh, yeah,
like
there.
you get asked lots of
And
questions.
it's on
and people
Facebook.
are like,
People are wondering.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like,
What's
I
going on?
honestly have no idea what's going on, but it looks like somebody's redoing the runway. So
Yeah, it was all we did is just bring a reclaimer and then pretty much reclaim and mix up the processing gravel that was there and regrade it.
But you guys purchased the
Yep.
property?
Yeah.
Nice.
And so all we own, it's funny, all we own there is
Just
just
a strip,
it's
right?
just
Oh,
a
yeah.
strip. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's 100 feet wide by 100 feet long.
Was that part of LaChance's?
Yeah, it was Tommy LaChance used to fly there.
The hangar didn't go with it.
The hangar doesn't go with it. That's the
That would
neighbor
be
next
good.
door. But next door needs a little cleaning up too. So we're hopeful, we're working in the near future to be able to buy that.
Will
And
you put a little hangar in there to keep the plane?
yeah, there's one next door now.
Oh, there
There's an
is?
existing one.
Oh, good.
That's a different property. The way the property lines, it was a Mosier that owned it, and so when Oak Ridge split up, a bunch of the Mosiers got small, different, weird pieces of property, and so we were able to buy that from one of the Mosiers.
How about a Jarmock Tobacco Facebook page? Do you guys have that?
No,
You could provide town updates to all the interesting town folk that want to know what's,
Yeah.
The gossip?
There's been a couple people that stopped. And anyone that stops, we're happy to
Okay.
show them around and tell them what's going on. We're gonna light the runway, so there'll be lights on
I actually
it.
have a friend that live in this neighborhood, off of Cantlewood,
Mhm.
and they were asking like if they're going to be able to fly their family to Disney next year. So I'll be able to tell them that. That's
I don't think a Boeing 737 would land there too well.
It will land.
It'll land. Taking off
Well,
would
you
be the
could
problem.
charter flights.
Yeah, they
Ron.
thought you.
I don't know if we'd be able to fly to Florida. I flew a Wyndham today, and that was enough of a challenge.
So what type of plane are you gonna?
We have Cessnas.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
We have 2 Cessnas, and then I like to fly the one that has all the gadgets on the inside. My father, we have a 1946 like World War II era J3
cool.
Piper Cub.
wow.
Were you the guys that were flying the little the biplane? The biplane?
No, those are scary.
Who was flying that one?
That's probably from Skylark somewhere.
Oh,
Skylark
okay.
or Ellington.
Okay, because I've seen that.
Yeah, they
one
were
too.
around for a while.
Yeah,
They were
the
doing
summer.
all
Yeah.
kinds of stuff. It's a
Yes.
biplane,
Mhm.
a double one.
Yep.
They were going upside down.
Was it blue and yellow?
Yeah, something
I
like
think
It was
so.
yellow.
I think
Private
it was
Eye?
yellow. Yeah.
That's
Oh,
probably.
yeah.
I think there's one at Skylark.
He was like cutting the engine and then nose diving and
Yeah, it's got to be from
Must have not been in
Skylark.
town that day.
yeah.
Um,
I'd be happy to keep the motor running.
yeah, you don't want to turn it off.
That's a big one to
I
start.
wondered if the college was going to use the airstrip that was there.
No, it'll just be us.
Okay, because you never know.
yeah.
They might want to fly somebody in and
Mhm.
get permission from me to do that. I don't know.
You could get a side.
You don't
dig
get a
there.
little,
Yeah.
little money maker in there, as
So is
they
that-
call it.
You want to do that?
I know that's not why you're here
One, you
today,
get
so
the
sorry
plus-
for all the
No, we're
questions.
happy. I mean, we're happy to talk about
True,
anything.
true.
Just going back to irrigation pond, though, you mentioned that there's other property that you purchased. Is that the airstrip you're talking about? Or is
No,
there
so we
other-
actually it's 36 Northwest Drive. It's actually
Is that like existing farmland as well?
yeah, it's an existing farm. It used to be a
Okay.
turf farm.
Oh,
It's
I know.
all
The
the way.
Daniels?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Daniels
Yeah,
farm.
I live on that road.
So it's all the way at
Yeah.
the back.
Butts up to Pell's property there.
Yeah, it butts up the Pell and then the Scannick River.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I was just because like on that map you can see like another old irrigation pond that was.
Yeah, there's
dug
one in
out
the
back
back
day.
here.
Like,
Um,
you guys don't use any of those, or you can't access them, or anything.
it's a different landowner.
Yeah.
We do irrigate sometimes out of ponds that we don't own. But now with the regulations and stuff, and it's just easier to have your own stuff.
Have your own, yeah.
We actually drove around. DEP was here 3 weeks ago, and we looked at 7 ponds. We actually looked at this one because once we dig the pond, if we want to withdraw more than 50,000 gallons a day out of it, then we'll get a permit from DEP because it's not your water; it's the state's.
You looked at which one? The one that you're proposing to do?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. Yeah, because we'll need a permit for that. So they were here. We said, hey, we might as well show you that one too.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
So same thing? This is
Yep.
going to be a permitted use
Yeah.
as of right?
Yes, as long as you all agree.
I agree if somebody else makes the motion.
You got it written down.
Yeah, but too much pressure.
You got this.
The key to the safe.
Just pass the paper.
You do that
You go.
I don't know, is his writing like my writing? Because I can't even read my writing. So.
At the bottom.
I hereby move that application number 782 has been permitted as a use of right.
I think that's close.
That was much better than mine. Much better.
Is
Thank
there
you.
a second?
I'll second that.
Any other discussion, comments, questions? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries. Thank you.
See you guys at the next meeting.
I'll be here next meeting.
They say no, I don't
And
know.
now our mystery is
We
solved.
appreciate the gossip because, you know, it's a smaller town here, so
Yeah, yeah.
everybody needs to know what you're doing.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah.
And no guys, right? No gossip. Fact.
Oh,
Gossip is always worse.
No,
Fact is always
this
better.
Well, that's why we suggested a Facebook page, so you can put it out there.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Drew, did you get this too? About this page?
Um,
Keep it if you want. It's,
Oh yeah.
yeah, it's a good
Pond.
little
Well, it's
thing
on
about
this thing
farmers.
with you. Isn't it? It's all part of it.
Oh, that was in there. I didn't even see that. I don't think I flipped that far into.
There's more too, man.
Yeah, this is
I got one. You can have that one. I got one. Drew.
What'd you need? Or
Nothing.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just pointing out what
oh,
in their PowerPoint.
I'm just gonna steal one of these. So.
I'm sure her room's gonna
Now,
be
was this
busier
for both
now if they bought
projects, or
that
was this,
piece of land.
Yeah, it was
It's a
for
dead
both.
end, so.
Yeah.
Where?
On
Okay,
Northwest
application
Drive.
782,
Yeah,
violation
Third Farmers, right
47
past Durkee.
Horseshoe Lane, construction of pool house in Upland View,
Oh, yeah.
without permit.
So as you can see, they're not here. I've been back and forth with the property owner quite a bit, trying to eke out a reasonable application. So this all transpired where there were no building permits or any kinds of permits pulled for this pool house. And I think where it got caught was maybe an electrician came to the town for a permit, and in the land use office they were like, what pool house? And there's no permits for a pool house. So there was a permit issued for a pool on that property in 2015, and so it was just before I took over here. And so when I was looking at the file for that, I saw we had a wetland file for this property. There was a note from David saying, when they request a certificate of occupancy for this, make sure to check and verify that they put in this planting along the stream, because it's just like lawn up to the stream. And so I'm looking through, I'm like, I never went and saw this, and I noticed, and so they never requested a CO for the pool, and never presumably never did the planting, because talking to the property owner, he didn't know what I was talking about.
But he's the one who put the pool in?
Yes, I'm pretty sure it's still the same property owner. So there was a lot of confusion. He thought I was saying the pool wasn't permitted. Anyway, so the pool was permitted, but there was supposed to be this planting to sort of mitigate. And then now there's suddenly this pool house and patio and overhang and bar and changing room and stuff next to the pool that hadn't been part of that approval and didn't have any building permits or anything. So this is, one of those, is it an enforcement issue, or are we letting him apply for?
He should have known if he got the permit for the pool.
Right.
And that he never followed through with the
Plantings.
Right. And I think the claim there is that, Giuliano's took care of the permit for the pool and he didn't know anything.
No, he's the owner.
Yeah.
So the
You know, if
plantings
you're
were
an owner,
supposed to
at
be
least look at the
planted to
plan.
mitigate,
The construction of the pool.
okay.
And I have the planting plan that Mike Mako had put together back.
So he hired Mike Mako, but he has no knowledge of it.
Right. Oh, and this plan's from 2014, and it shows these hashed areas along the stream for plantings. Let's see, I have another one of those too.
Is he being cooperative?
Yes, it's just, I think there's been a lot of maybe not fully reading my emails and not understanding what I'm asking for. And then, so I've had 3 versions now of the application form, because his first application, he was referring to the pool. I'm like, no, the pool's all set. I'm talking about what you and your friend did to create these other improvements. So this was from when the pool was approved, and there were supposed to be plantings on either side of the stream, because it's just like lawn right up to it.
But as far as not having a CO, what does that mean? I mean,
I would think if anything, it would be an issue for his insurance.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've been swimming for 7 years, and the insurance
Yeah,
company
and I
probably
don't
doesn't know about.
I know, and I don't know what happens, if there's some statute of limitations on that, or what. I know with zoning, something's there for so long, and it did have a permit originally, but I would think if you went to sell the house, it'd be an issue.
Is he putting it right in the wetland area, or is he?
No, so
Okay, but it's.
so here's the stream, and then the pool went in here, and then he just added more on here. It's not even in where the original enclosure was.
And that's where it is, right in here, the pool house. there.
Yeah, so it is.
Rocket.
So originally they showed a pool house up here,
Yeah.
closer to the deck, but this did I
Oh, he
There's
enlarged
both.
it,
did I print an aerial? I probably didn't put it online, but I think I have one in here.
so he increased the size of it.
Well,
How close did he get to the property line with those buildings, though? The pool's only 28 feet to the property line.
And this is 47 Horseshoe Lane.
The pool? Oh,
That's what it says.
it looks like that was built, because that's right there, right?
Oh, he's got a good
And then it looks
picture of
like
it
there's
over.
a-
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
This
that's
might be
it.
the one
Right.
that
Oh,
Joanne's
those are
talking about.
on the other side.
And that's
Is this on the
that's
garage
the pool house
side?
now.
No,
So
the garage
that's the
had a
garage.
permit, but the
So this is all, it's all this stuff on the.
yeah.
It's
So
out
there was on the original wetland.
Is
There was
this-
a pool house
is
shown on
this
there.
it? Is this the pool?
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
it's
it's
a
this
pool
whole
house.
complex.
Oh,
Um,
okay, there's,
Look at
this is
how
all the
close it
patio.
is to the property
You're right,
line.
right.
The pool is only 28 feet, so this is,
Oh, that's true. It could be
That's
over the property, the side yard
yeah.
setback. Because originally on this
Well,
plan they
this
showed
is
a pool.
shadow right in here from the
Right.
roof line. Okay, so
And this was like his. This is theoretically what he put in. It's like change. I was a little confused trying to
Oh.
interpret this, but so like changing room, cabinets, walkway, then a bar and bar
there's
seating.
the fire pit right there. Okay, and these are changing rooms. And this is the patio right in here. So it's all right in here.
This might be like the grill over here. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's right
Yeah.
there is the fire pit.
But
Yeah.
look at the plan.
And there's the grill right in
The pool
here.
is 28 feet to the property
Right.
line. Then you've got a 3 or 4 foot patio.
Yeah.
Then you've got
Well-
the buildings. So they're practically sitting on top of the property
Yeah,
line.
right
Yeah.
there.
No, that's a good point. I don't know if Jen's looked at
That's
this.
but that's probably the property line coming right down there.
And they were originally showing like a pool house back with wetlands, but then they didn't have a building permit for that. And then they did a lot more than just plop a little like prefab
12
pool
by
house
12,
down. Yeah. It's like a lot more going on than that.
And it's just as close to the stream as the pool was.
Right. So if anything,
Yes. Yes,
So
it
they
is.
so they
Yes,
thought
it
they
is.
needed a permit to put the pool in, but not to put all these buildings
Right.
in, which are the same
No,
distance
no,
to
they
the
didn't.
stream.
right.
Okay, so it goes like that.
Yeah. So I don't know if I guess they just must not have put that pool house in
Changing
back when the pool was
cabinets.
approved.
But did you say that this was not? This
Walkway.
wasn't all approved back then, or it was?
I mean, presumably that pool
Oh,
house
this
probably
little piece.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's not.
That little like 12 by
12
12.
by 12 is not what they.
And that
put
doesn't
in.
look like the same location either. I mean, I could be.
Well, this is 16. This is 4, 8, 10, 12.
And then what did
yeah.
he write? So on this this third version of the application, he put that it was.
Stone seating.
this
See
stone?
over here with the grill and the, see that?
Mhm.
And then this is stone seating.
Oh, this
So
is the
that,
old version.
that must be what this line is. This must be a wall, stone wall.
This was the best fit
Oh,
for the
no, wait a
pool
minute,
house to
maybe
go
that's
without
it,
interfering
right
with the
in there.
wetlands and the side of my house.
Right in there.
So he said the patio square footage. The patio footage is 40 feet by 20 feet. And then like the pool house is kind of within that, I guess. But so I still haven't been in person to see this because it's me trying to figure out like what's even going on there. And in
And then
some
what's this that's crossing over here?
there is a bridge. They
Oh,
did
I was
have
just
a
gonna say, yeah, look at that.
yeah. There was a footbridge before, I think, or at least it was shown on this plan.
Yeah, it's here.
Yeah, existing
It says
footbridge.
existing.
So it was sort of this situation where there's this stream. It was lawn right up to it, and then to put the pool in, they said we'll do these plantings, and then it certainly doesn't look like any plantings were installed.
No.
So this, if nothing else, I think would be an opportunity to make sure that gets done. But also, yeah, does where they put the pool house, is that even okay for zoning, let alone for
I mean, it
wetlands?
sounds like at this point they're going to need a legitimate site survey, right? The-
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, what is zoning?
but it's hard to say. I
doesn't
mean,
know
Are
about
it might
they
not
gonna
be
get in
that.
trouble with zoning?
And I'm having a hard time telling. It might be not that far off from where they showed a pool house on there. Like originally, I thought it was way off. Now, the more I look at it, I'm like, well, if that's the patio, maybe the building's not that off. But
So you're thinking that this is the roof of the
Yeah.
pool house?
that's what I think anyway.
But
And then
maybe because this is like a kitchen area and
yeah,
what are those
Like an
outdoor
outdoor kitchen.
kitchen type things?
I think so. And once I go see a person, it might hopefully make all the more sense. And maybe that pool house is about where it was shown there, but it's definitely more extensive
bigger
than.
than 12 by
Yeah,
12.
and then just the general, all the improvements, it's like a lot more built out. And, and now they've got like patio extending out here. So, yeah, I can't say for sure if that
Yeah,
pool
it's
house
not,
is further
it's
open.
not,
It probably looks quite nice, but it's like
Right.
you got to do what you were told to do when you got your
So,
first
and
permit.
then what about this structure? So this is the garage.
So that did get a
Is that
permit.
a shed or what is that?
Yeah, that's
an additional garage?
so that got a minimal impact permit for it, and at the time, I didn't realize that there was this outstanding thing with the pool. Like I totally missed
Okay.
that. I think that was early on, and I'm like, wait,
Can you
I.
see the other side of that too? 'Cause this shows it.
But it was small enough that it didn't have to come here. But I wish I had caught
Pretty
it
much
then.
see the
Yeah,
property
there's a
line.
fence. Yeah.
Yeah.
And this pool house, also is, you know, if it was just the pool house, it might have been something where I could issue it administratively, but with all that went on and with the planting not being done, I thought, okay, this needs to come this needs to come to the commission, especially now that it's been done without a permit.
Where's Horseshoe Lane? Is it way up on the mountain up there? Where am
No,
I
it's off of
thinking?
South Road, off of Partridge.
Oh, okay.
And then even if this pool house had been part of the wetland approval, like a 12 by 12 pool house, it still, that would have expired at this point. Like they didn't put it in then. So at this point that would have expired already. So there's just kind of all these different elements to
They
it.
didn't do any of these
No.
these plantings at all. They
Yeah.
didn't do anything.
Yeah.
They saved the money and
Put it into their
Yeah.
patios
Yeah.
and
Right.
changing rooms and outdoor grills and
Yeah. So,
So-
yeah.
who's the owner.
So
Is
at
this
a, at a
the year of
minimum.
the violations or something? I mean,
Huh?
this is like the year of the
I
violations.
know.
I
It's
feel
like
they're-
everything's being done without a permit, and
it's got to be COVID.
Time
Blame
to
it on
do that brochure.
COVID boardom.
it sounded like one of those
That's
him
how
and
much
his
you do
buddy
with.
like
I got some
built this
info
and
for
didn't,
you
like-
at the conference.
okay think I don't know, but kind of unfortunate. But so I
So-
said, you know, like he didn't realize he was supposed to come to the meeting, and then so we talked on the phone this
Well,
afternoon.
he
and-
also doesn't want to come before.
Right. And so, you know, I said, all right, I'll like explain what's happened so far, but and I told him how, you know, these plantings were supposed to be done, so
Right.
at least, you know, that's going to be expected to be done now.
Well,
Okay.
he's gonna have to check with other departments.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll have to see if Jen made any
And
comments.
be reminded that he doesn't even have a CO and that we're still expecting those plantings to be done.
Right.
Or we'll notify
Yeah.
Please.
the police, his insurance
planting police.
company, that,
Yeah.
you know.
Right. Well, and if nothing else, that should could be a condition again with this one, just to, since that old permit's expired, just to like.
Well, I think the
But then
revised
10 years.
application for this, the pool house, should reflect all these things that weren't done previously.
Yeah.
So in this application, he should incorporate the missing elements from the prior application.
Right. Yeah.
And
And
actually present like a legible drawing that shows what's going to be done and where everything actually is today in terms of like distance from the house and wetlands.
Yeah, but wouldn't all of that
comparison
stuff
to this, maybe.
have to
I
go
mean, if this
to,
Yeah.
you know, to the other department rather than we're just concerned with the wetland area
Yeah. I mean,
and the pool house. Those were the original plans. The pool house was on it. It just
Right.
appears to have grown and
yeah.
and the
And expanded a little.
and the patio area.
And
has
patios
been
are kind of a
expanded.
gray area where, you know, if it was just a patio, we might say it's just incidental landscaping kind of thing, because patios themselves don't need a building permit, but like
Well,
all
like-
together ends up being all this impervious, like, you know,
Well, like
stream.
stone, yeah, like the seating wall and the
Yeah, that's a good thing to bring up. Use the word impervious because that's significant, the runoff with
That's
just
right, that's
lawn
true,
straight
right.
down. That, you know, that maybe wouldn't have concerned us had they done the plantings when they were supposed
Right.
to. But now that they've done all this additional construction and
Yeah.
increased the size of the patio and increased the amount of impervious
just barely
area
around
that,
here.
yeah.
Yeah. Right, yeah, because, I mean, lawn isn't gonna detain stormwater runoff, it's not gonna soak up as much as, like, shrubs would. And I didn't look in detail to see what exactly was proposed on this plan, but, usually Mike does a nice job of it, but.
Well, and just point out that he hired Mike Markow, so that he must have been aware at some point that that was the understanding.
All right, so he did do a couple non-natives, but river birches and red twig dogwoods and serviceberries and elderberries would be nice, or pussy willow.
that didn't,
Yeah.
none of that got done.
Yeah, we would notice if there's some trees there. But yeah, just lawn up to the stream is like unfortunate, and then that's kind of our opportunity when they want to do something to get something better there. Kind of like with this pool.
The other,
on
what the other
Cricket.
couple are doing
Yeah.
now. Right.
Like, all right, we can make it a little nicer and
They got a list of what all the
yeah,
stuff they want put in right here.
yeah.
Yeah, you don't have to make one up.
Oh yeah, I might cross off a
You know.
Norway spruce, but anyway. So
Yeah, considering what the applicant tonight is doing
right,
compared to what this one, the
Dragging their
the
feet.
approval was based on that, and
Ignoring
he never
it.
did it.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. So now that they need a permit, and again, it's one of those: do we issue a notice of violation? Do we let them come in for a permit? I mean, if they're cooperative
Tell them
and
they have a choice.
yeah. Well, that's what I was saying when I wasn't getting like the
Well,
application back, the form back. I'm like, we're trying to work with you, but
So you're saying 2015 we approved it
So
with those
there's-
conditions, and they still haven't.
Correct.
They
right,
haven't.
yeah. I
They
don't.
haven't completed their part of the
Yeah, I don't see
original
any evidence.
application that was approved.
Oh, yeah, here
so-
was Dave's note
Right.
from May 2015, like
Okay.
just as he was leaving, like
Okay.
watch for the CO, and there was a detailed planting plan done, and they never came in for the CO, and I never noticed that, but yeah. So now's the chance, I guess, the second chance at it, but
Yeah.
Well, now is the second chance, and there's nobody here to speak on
I
behalf
know,
of it.
yeah.
So what are we supposed to do next month?
I mean, hopefully he'll be able to come next month, but you can make
Well,
But
if you
Come and
communicate,
have all
well,
these
or
issues, and
if you communicate with him between now and
Yeah.
then, we discussed it, where we see that he had hired someone who came
Yeah.
up with a planting plan. That was a stipulation of approval for his pool, and 7 years later, he still hasn't done any of that. And now, without any further permits, he's done more work. So he is in violation,
Mhm.
and he needs to
Come before the
he needs
commission.
to come before us or get those things planted this week while the weather's still good.
Okay, so you'd like to see the planting done
Yes.
before you approve anything?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The plantings have to be done.
Okay.
They were supposed to have been done 7 years ago.
I mean, the plantings that were on that plan.
That was a stipulation of approval.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I did. I'm
Yeah.
just wondering if, given the time, that if
Oh,
they
he's not
should.
going to be able to put them in now.
Well, that, and if they should just come up with a new planting plan as part of this application to resolve this violation that
Well, that,
addresses all of that, and
or
maybe
he
then
can
something, you
use
know.
that plan because it was a good plan and somebody's already done the work for him. Otherwise, if he wants to come up with a new planting plan, but there's already one in place that he ignored, so he's in violation, for not
Yeah.
having done that, and he's in violation for
Building this without
the
permit.
pool house.
But again,
without a permit.
that plan was based on that construction, that it appears that has.
Right, but the plantings were
Very-
along the river, and they still need to be there.
No, I
along
understand
the
that, but
stream.
what they actually built varied from what was proposed.
Like you think
so,
maybe it should be more
the-
robust, or
Well, I'm not. Maybe I don't
Yeah.
know. And I think it starts with an accurate plan of what's out there, and then
Yeah.
a supplemental, plan as to how to protect the water course. And
Do
you
we
know.
have recourse to inform the building inspector and the other department?
yeah,
This is-
they're aware. I think
They're
they must have been the ones to, probably an electrician was seeking a
okay.
permit
So
from
that's
them.
how
and-
it got flagged.
Yeah, so now they've applied now for a building permit application,
Oh, they
and
are, okay.
and that's where I was looking at it, going, wait a minute. And when I looked on the GIS, the aerials only go up to 2019, and it wasn't on there. And then for some reason, I looked on Google Maps and saw it already there, and I was trying to put it all together, but yeah, then
Okay,
seeing that note in the
so
file, like, wait,
they
was this
know.
planting ever done? Because otherwise, you know, the pool house might have been small enough, but once you take into the whole thing and then noticing the planting was never done, it's like, all right, this is a whole situation to bring before at a meeting. But that would be a good solution to require that the planting be done before you'll even approve, because we can't really trust that he's going to do it, especially because he's already built the buildings anyway.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? Would he withdraw this application? Would he?
I mean, we still have
reapply?
time to approve it. Like, if he could get it in this fall, the planting, then we still have time to approve. Even if we didn't approve it next month, it still could be. It could go in another month still. But although
would you
wouldn't
go
still
out there
plant them.
and verify?
That it's not been done.
No,
Or-
like if they
oh.
did plant it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I just don't want them to, like, you know.
I highly doubt that they're gonna do all this
They're
planting
not.
in the next week.
No, they're
Yeah,
not.
and I don't want them to, like,
Thanksgiving's
rush it
coming
just for the
and-
sake of getting
Okay.
this thing
It's not gonna
approved
happen.
either. You
Okay.
know? It's like,
Yeah, and so
you
my
know,
only
do it right.
This couple's already bought their stuff and it's going in, and the
Well, that
garden
was
barn is
basically
putting
a
it in.
non-functioning wetland. This is an actual water course. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
Correct.
this needs
Right.
a little
And then
more robust.
the issue with us just approving a permit with a condition they do the planting is the same thing could happen again where they don't put in and they don't request a CO, because normally that's where you catch it. If when they want the CO, you check it, make sure they did everything. I mean, in this case, this will be fresh in my mind as something to keep an eye on. But at the same time, like, a permit is voluntary.
Isn't there a construction bond or something that could be requested?
That's a good point. Yeah.
If it's a
Would
new,
that come from building?
If
Yeah,
it's
so-
new, if it's a new building, you're right.
Yeah, so either they, we could even require a bond for it. Like, if, I believe, if we could say either the plantings need to be in before the next meeting, or
We will require a
Bond it.
bond and,
they'd have to get an estimate of what this would cost, and
yeah, make them do a little bit of, little legwork.
Is that in writing about that somewhere?
yeah.
That's in the
So
regs?
I was looking into the bond issue because that was, I think I mentioned it a couple meetings ago, that was brought up by a developer about, you know, how we've been doing just like lawn bonds and these multifamily developments, and probably make more sense to just have a larger construction bond. And in the charter, there's like so many different opportunities for bonding. And I did write to Carl Landolina, but I haven't heard back. I'll have to resend, make a note, resend email. Because I wanted to know what he thought would be the best avenue for that. Because there's various opportunities, like different commissions could require a bond. And we've had these huge projects going with no construction bonds at all, like all these like Lake Drive and Shady Lake and this Eleanor development. There's like no bond, and what if the developer goes belly up and walks away, and then you've got this half-built road and no detention basins or whatever. But so really, there should be a construction bond, but
Yeah.
there's also opportunities for us to have bonds for either erosion control bonds, or I bet we could get one for the planting, and make it large enough, not like our lawn bonds that are $500. It has to be large enough to cover, like, if the town had to hire a landscaper to come do the planting,
Yep.
whatever that would cost, to make it actually something worth doing for them.
This guy's the part owner of Tommy Tattoos.
His email signature, he owns like 6 things. They like come.
He's got pictures of here of him at his pool party.
That's funny.
Oh, we should go shut him down. I mean, there should be some consequence of not getting a CO. I mean, not just this instance.
I should
but-
ask the building official, like,
Yeah, what happens when somebody finishes construction, doesn't bother to get their CO, and doesn't meet the requirements of approvals before he gets
Yeah.
the CO?
and yeah, I could just imagine, heaven forbid something happens in your pool and someone gets hurt. I don't know what would happen then if you never, because the CO is like affirming that it was inspected and approved and everything. So
I mean, that's a good thing to say to him, that,
Yeah.
you know,
could lose all your businesses that you.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that could be a horrible,
Sure, they're all
He's very
LLCs.
proud about
They're
those.
probably all
And
protected
so-
under LLC.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a reason for these things. you
Yeah.
know. It's not like you avoid it, it's a reason for it.
Right, right. Yeah.
I mean, are you sure that was him? Like, he doesn't have a dad named Tom Ringwald, and that might have been
Oh.
his dad that got the permit? Because he looks fairly young in this picture.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. But then he looks
I mean,
young, but
still,
he
it
also
should have
looks
been
like
carried
60s.
out,
Yeah.
but I'm just wondering if maybe...
No, that's a good point. I couldn't say for sure.
But he didn't say to you when you first
I'm an HR
communicated
director.
with
I know
him.
that
I
too
don't
much.
think we've
I
ever done that as a
I
commission.
didn't
That's
build
good.
this
Right.
house, I didn't put
You
the
find out a
pool
lot
in.
through
it.
No, he
Yeah,
said I
background
assumed
check on our
Giuliano's took care of this, so he was aware of like, you know, the pool going in and all that. So he was at least around for that, for the pool being built. But what he said was, yeah, that he assumed
was
that the
too busy
pool
with
company took care of all of
All
that.
the companies.
Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
he
let's see.
paid the bill to Mike Marco.
So yeah, it was
Yeah.
like a Tom Ringwald, but I don't know if it doesn't say senior or junior or anything like that.
Is that the original?
Yeah, the original application. Which I think Giuliano's pulled. And
36 in-ground pool, 4-foot high fence with self-closing and latching gates.
it's just so
located
stark, like that
100
poor water
foot
course
line
is
of
just
an
like,
inlet water course, no
it just
impact of
long
wetlands.
everywhere. Well, at least the neighbors actually have some plantings, but
That
The
was,
pool is 26 feet
wasn't that
from-
cleared like
from the-
before the
22
houses were built?
by
No,
36
Huh.
in-ground.
That was like,
Oh,
I don't know if it
9
was farmland or what, but that was
feet from
cleared
the
before those
100
houses were even put there. wasn't it?
flood line of an
That's-
It
intermittent
might
water
have been.
course.
No, but it's
I
only
feel,
26
isn't that a newer
feet
neighborhood
from
or
the-
no?
let's see,
I
there's
don't
another one
remember
there. I don't know if
neighborhood growing
one's,
up.
if they're the same
Yeah,
or
I
one's
think
just a
it was
copy.
like-
I don't.
Maybe
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
We still give this out to people how to create a street
Where is
side
it?
buffer.
Oh, you do?
Well, we as in the
Yeah.
district, we have got like still some copies of this,
road
but
right there.
Behind
Okay.
Dan Avery's
Yeah.
place back
But,
Oh,
there.
yeah. Oh,
All
yeah,
right.
that's-
Anyway.
That's been there quite a while.
That's-
So no audio
yeah.
participation.
30 years
Staff
maybe.
report.
Well, that's not a while.
okay, I don't have too much since we met
I'm thinking
last.
50, 100.
So I guess just a couple of things for a staff report. So I think I mentioned at the last meeting that we had, a recently approved house at 132 Stafford Road. That a potential buyer was interested but wanted to do a drastically different house layout that would encroach a lot closer to the wetland. They did come back with, took into account some of my suggestions and had a mock-up of the house shifted further away and reconfigured a little bit. It still was further into the upland review area than what we approved, so I think it would still ultimately need a modification, but I'd asked her to get it all plotted properly and show grading and everything, and she was hoping to come in for this meeting, but it just seems it didn't get pulled together in time, but we'll probably end up seeing that for a modification. And then I've talked with a new potential buyer of that corner lot on Durkee, and that one, Rick Lino had a plan approved, had it, then came back to renew it, and then came back to modify it to have the driveway off of Durkee instead of Four Bridges, and now there's new people looking at it that actually might want to build a smaller house, but might want to change it up a little. So we'll see if they can kind of keep within the footprint, or if they need to come back or what. But
I was wondering if that was ever going to
I know it's just been sitting there like.
It seems like the driest spot out of all those sites,
Doesn't it?
too.
I know.
But I don't. Yeah, maybe it's not.
He came to see it.
It's kind of-
They came to see us. He came to see us. What was that, last year?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't
2
too
years.
long ago because
2
it
years
seemed
ago.
like he had someone
Yeah.
interested because he wanted it was these like he wanted to switch where the driveway was because
Right.
someone must have wanted that, and then I don't know, that must have fallen through because this is someone new, but and then yeah, I was just gonna most of this month was trying to help applicants through this process, and then Kakiwick conference, Joan and I both went, and I did, we were talking just before the meeting about, we had the opportunity for the legal update, which there was no legal update, there was no, they just really opened it up for questions, and so I did ask about our current predicament where we're having to have this really drawn out approval process because of our regs, and the attorney there just said, take that out of your regs, and even if something in the statute references having to have a collective statement on the record, that if it's in the statute and not in your regs, it would just be considered advisory, and that a judge wouldn't hold you to that, but because it's actually in our regs is why they're honing in on that. And I'm like, yeah, well, I don't know, whenever we want to update our regs, there's so many other things to update too, and we just really need those model regulations. I wish we could just make one simple change without having to go through the whole public hearing process. You know, there's so many other things that we should be changing, but the theme of Kakiewicz seemed to be how DEEP only has one person in their wetland division. This is the 50th anniversary of the wetland statute. There used to be 9 staff in the wetland division, and now to have a division of 1 is pretty crazy. Like, heaven forbid someone's like ill or
But the governor
retired.
says we have so much money and the state's in such good shape. Why don't they start staffing DEEP adequately?
Yeah.
No?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think even when I had started, there were, I think, 3 staff at least. But yeah, it's pretty crazy that there's just one person.
Funny thing was, I went to one of the display tables that was all about the benefits of beavers and how to install
The deceivers?
yeah, and I'm thinking, interesting that it's here and that DEEP went and hacked away at a beaver pond and did all that damage downstream from up on Galbraith Road, and it went down Tumblebrook and just carrying logs and debris, and it widened the stream like quadrupled or more, and it was just this rushing mud water that just ran
When
down.
was that?
This was just a few months ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I happened to be
Over the
up there
summer.
walking, and this little stream that I used to jump across was like almost as wide as, you know, it was just flooded
Wow.
the woods, and so I called DEEP and reported it. Well, they had done it. The beavers had built a dam where there had always been a little breach at the end of this. Well, it was the edge of a pond, but it has like a bank and everything. Well, they already had the drain pipe and all that. So I said to him, "Why didn't you just maintain what was there?" Because the beavers have the dam built within a day or two again.
Right.
So
They're good little engineers.
it's
They
like
are.
you made this and I wonder what all the homeowners downstream, because they were all calling each other, what the heck's going on?
Oh, yeah.
This water is just...
Where's Tumblebrook?
Tumblebrook is in the Colorado
Okay.
neighborhood. So it came down from Galbraith Road. It goes under the road near like Lance Drive under 190. Comes out on the other side. And the whole area was just flooded. And it was like, well,
So, and then that goes into the Gulf Stream.
1 for the beaver, 0 for
Wow.
DEEP,
Yeah,
yeah.
that is crazy.
And now I will say that the dam did flood part of a dirt road up there, but even in dry times there's sometimes water, so they could just, again, maintain their pond, but water levels have been low, so it's, they just, I mean, but again, there's nobody to do anything in these areas. Although they did try to improve another road into Schnipsett, the one Sodom Road that comes out at where the parking lot at Soapstone is. It starts at 190. But what they did was they dumped the 1-inch stones. You know, the road. So now it's just crappy for mountain bikers. It's crappy for me walking on because you just got these big sections of big chunky rocks.
Right.
But I mean, they sort of made a half-hearted attempt to do something
Yeah.
about the parts of the road that were eroding. But it's like,
Yeah. I know,
But anyway,
I don't know, and there's like the Passport to Parks program you would think would help.
we're all paying for
A
it
lot of
and
that
not
stuff.
using a lot of those parks. But
I got 5 passports. I don't know about you.
You mean
For each car.
One for every car.
Yeah, every time and it's like, my husband never goes anywhere. Why are we paying for somebody to go down to Hammonasset every weekend?
Well,
It just
but,
bugs
yeah,
me.
and then, I don't understand like why houses with multiple vehicles have to have multiple passports.
They shouldn't. You should have to do it once.
Yeah.
It's yeah. That's But anyway, I picked up some. I think it was Bolton that had a brochure, to educate the public about the importance of. But more than half of it was kind of extraneous and stuff that didn't apply to us. So I'm going to reread it and kind of highlight a few things, because if you print something that big, that many pages, nobody's going to look at it. We need like
a little
5
pamphlet.
Little things,
And
yeah.
then I got another one on vernal pools, and I did go to that lecture, and that was good.
Oh yeah, I didn't catch up with
Yeah.
you after that.
Yep.
Was there like a overarching kind of theme or finding from, like, because they did this vernal pool study for a number of years, and they looked at like control vernal
Yeah,
pools
that
and
they
development vernal
didn't
pools.
have. They didn't do the study long enough
Oh.
because you can have dry years and wet years, and they didn't. Their volunteers were supposed to be going out twice, and they were
Yeah.
only going once.
Yeah.
So the frogs breed before the salamanders do. So if they didn't go out at the right time, whatever.
So it was inconclusive.
Well, I mean, they did come up with some facts, and I did get a pamphlet, and I jotted down some notes.
Okay.
And then there was another one on stormwater drainage, which is also good for people to know, because whatever you're
Yeah, they don't think
dumping,
about
it
that,
goes
where it's
into
going.
the street,
Right.
and then it goes into the streams, and then it,
Right. People think it
So-
goes to like a treatment plant.
I like it when they sometimes put the little plaques there
Yes.
that say where it's going to.
Yeah.
Like
Right,
this
goes-
is
yeah.
The Boy Scouts,
Boy
right?
Scouts
Yeah.
did that
Yeah,
they
years
did?
ago.
Oh,
but a
that's-
lot of
yeah.
them,
Yeah,
it's
the
so
little nice
long,
little
at least
sticker
where I
things.
walk, that
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
hardly
Yeah,
see
Some
them
of the towns
anymore.
have like a stencil now that they paint that.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe that could be another Boy Scout project stencil.
I'll make that comment afterward.
Some of the cities and stuff, they had
And that's some
trouble
of
with dumping, they would change the
some
oil,
wetlands
Oh,
commissions
yeah.
in
dump it down the
Enfield.
drain.
Yeah.
God.
They had some
They thought it was
comments about-
going to, I don't know
One of
what,
our
but they didn't care
town.
either. Just thought it was out of town.
Out of sight, out of
Even
mind.
like little things, like if you wash
you
your
ask them
car,
about
that?
put it on the
Yeah.
lawn
Gas
instead of
station
doing it in the
in Enfield
driveway,
or
like
Clinton.
makes a difference. And
Yeah.
They
How the
did,
hell
and
they
But,
oh,
yeah, just
We're gonna
things
make it
you
into, like,
just
a-
don't
We
think
were
about
taught
unless
when
you.
we go camping, you spray your like spit when you brush your teeth. You don't just spit it into a pile.
Oh, yeah.
Like 20 feet of fill.
I don't know why I remember that all of a
Nice.
sudden.
Yeah, just things that unless it's brought to someone's attention, they're never going to think of it. And we have these really old. It's like designed for kids, but it's like stormy, the storm sewer, like, and I don't know, they're kind of cute, but like explaining for kids like what it is. So we need the
Well, all
adult version.
the seniors now all have to do a capstone project every year. I don't know if you've heard about that. It's a requirement to graduate.
Okay.
So they have to identify something that they're passionate about. So my daughter she was going to do, but they can't work with family members. So, but it could be for future seniors. They have to do 20 hours of community service.
Oh, and they can work
Then
with
they
you?
have to do a huge project and do a presentation about it. And it might be something if you guys know of seniors, just plug us.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
It's a
Okay.
good idea, get some
I think the whole
natural
state
stuff
is
and
requiring that now. It's
Yeah.
a new state requirement.
Okay.
natural, what goes on around you,
Yeah.
Yeah.
in your livelihood.
So is that it for the
Yeah, I
staff
think
report?
so.
Okay.
Can I make a motion?
Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve her report.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Motion
Aye.
carries. Correspondence and bills, JI bill for October public notice. Motion to pay.
I make a motion to pay the JI bill for $42.50.
Second that?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Right.
What was it? How many? What was the amount?
$42.
Oh, there it is. Okay. Yeah.
I suddenly had this thought last month that, if I just like threw it in the agenda, I don't have to fumble for it at the
Thank you.
I'm always like, oh no, where is that piece of paper? Yeah,
Good point. Okay, minutes approval.
only
of
took 5 years.
October 5.
I don't think I ever got them.
See, I didn't. I didn't.
I don't think they
notice
were
them.
attached. I think you attached. Oh, really?
Thank you. I'm glad Drew has her. I feel crazy. No,
I missed. The
I missed that.
email.
Yeah, sorry.
I
You know,
got
I-
the next email.
I'll often
but I
like
didn't.
reply to the agenda one, and sometimes I don't change the subject. Sometimes I think to change the subject to say minutes, but a lot of times I just reply to the original agenda one and attach it, so that might get lost. And then later I sent the September revised ones on their own.
Well, that's
Yes.
what I thought, and I pulled it up, and it's
And
like,
this
no,
came
these are September.
fairly quick after the meeting.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
I looked
Yeah.
way after. Was it
Yeah.
October 7th?
Yes, it did.
October
Do I
5th,
have?
Yeah, so I thought I looked, but somehow I.
I think I have just one copy on me, but if
I think I find it in my
Ah.
email. I sent it.
So were they okay?
I
Do you
read
remember?
through it on behalf
I
of the
wasn't here.
commission. Look at me. I make a motion to approve the minutes of October 5th, 2022.
Okay.
Feel free to take your time and
Right. Second.
I second.
Aye.
I guess the motion carried.
We're getting more efficient. Now that we have to say that big spiel after everything, we've got
I
to
know.
I know.
find places to save time.
We gotta get that on
I'll
our
have
recording.
to I'll have to email Darcy every week and
Just hold
ask
up the
about
sign.
the model regulations, just so I'm the squeaky wheel.
yeah, seriously.
Motion to adjourn.
Dan, you make the motion to adjourn?
Yes. So moved.
Who else wants the meeting to end?
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Is
I just
Candy
wanted
no
to
longer
come
part
up
of the
with-
slash? Is she
Who?
no? Candy? Candace?
It's me.
Oh no, who was the one that was
Oh,
doing
Lise.
the minutes before?
Oh no, it was Tara.
Oh, Tara.
Tara's
sorry.
left.
Is this?
She was like a volunteer.
Oh,
Oh,
not
she
paid,
was
okay.
getting
right?
paid,
Yeah.
yeah.
Is this?
But
Getting
she wasn't
paid.
actually
That's where
a
we just-
commissioner.
Yeah, I think so.
This one?
She wasn't a
She wasn't
committee.
I
actually.